One of the things we didn't get as much into is how around the feminist movement, there was a lot of activism around lesbian rights and because of that, LGBT rights. In the 70s, there was the IWY conferences that were held in every state and that there was a national conference for. That was the first time there was really very much public discourse around our issues because lesbians raised the issue of doing away with the sodomy laws. We raised the issue of doing away with job discrimination and housing discrimination, and we raised the issue of child custody rights. That was 1977. And then in the 80s here in Richmond, there was a very well-respected institution, the Richmond YWCA, that was persuaded to take some very positive positions around lesbian rights, and in turn that affected the whole LGBT concept. So as we're talking about a lot of the negative things that people were dealing with, I think it's good to know that there were also some very positive things going on, and it's not surprising to me that feminist women were often involved with that. And the other thing is in those days, I would say it was a challenge to get something called lesbian and gay. It was usually called gay. So anytime you see lesbian and gay, you know there were some lesbians there making sure that that happened. But there has also always been, and as we've been talking about things, there have always been bisexual folks involved in all of those groups. There have always been transgender folks involved, but they were, in most cases, not being mentioned. You are not hearing those names. And so just the fact that you weren't hearing the name didn't mean that people weren't there. And I think it's important to know that all of those different facets of our community have always been there and have always been involved in some way, even where the naming of those groups may not have always been happening.